Hey everybody, I just wanted to get on here and talk a little bit to you. I haven't talked a while to people regarding how I've been doing on my carnivore way of eating. I personally don't call it a diet because it is a new life change for me, and of course for my husband, who has been doing fantastic on it. And I have to tell you some things that's been going on. First off, the good news is I'm down to 136.6 in my pounds, which I haven't been that low in pounds probably over 12 years, 13 years. It's just been forever getting down my weight. And a lot of it is the carnivore diet. And I know that's most of it because I'm getting rid of junk out of my life, the junk foods, no processed foods. Now, I will tell you, yes, I went on vacation. And there was 2 times we ate at McDonald's, which I'm not into that, but I could tell the instant I ate it, my stomach was like, blah. And I used to eat it all the time, especially when I worked in West Virginia and come by McDonald's at times at the hospital. That's where I would go and stop before I went to work and get me a breakfast sandwich. And that's what we ate, was breakfast sandwiches. And by the time I thought, oh, this is really doing havoc on my diet, or my way of eating. I don't do that. But I got the eggs and bacon, or eggs and sausage biscuits. Usually it was the bacon. Yeah, we did it twice. And a few times we ate out while I eliminated the bread. Now, in talking about the bread, I challenge you to do one thing. If you have hip pain, ankle pain, knee pain, I challenge you to try this for at least a week, maybe 2 weeks. But I believe in a week, you will tell a difference. Stop eating all grains. Get bread out of your life. Don't do it for a week. Don't eat no cereals for a week. Don't eat no pastas for a week. Don't eat any kind of grain, and that counts for oats and rice. Any grain. If you don't know what grains are, Google it. It'll tell you. These are grains, okay? Corn is a grain. Don't eat it. It's a vegetable, but it's a grain. Don't eat it, okay? Just try this for yourself for 1 week, and if it don't see much of a result in 1 week, try it for 2. Now, the other thing while you're doing this, do yourself a big favor, and I can't emphasize on this more than anything. Don't go out and get processed foods. If you're going to eat, get raw foods. Eat your meat. Watch sausage. If you're eating sausage, a lot of sausage has dextrose in it. On your label, look, if you see any word with OSE on the end, that is a sugar that they have put in to your meats. Very bad for you. Bacon, you gotta watch that. The only bacon I buy, and it doesn't show that this is on their label, and I'm praying they don't put it in there, is Carolina bacon here in South Carolina. Now, I don't know in West Virginia. There's got to be some bacon out there somewhere that they do not put any kind of sugar in. And a lot of times it won't say sugar. It'll have an OSE on the end of a word. That's sugar. Be cautious of this. And I'm going to tell you, if you challenge yourself to try this for a week to 2 weeks, if you have hip pain, knee pain, or ankle pain, or even muscle pain, see how quickly your pain leaves. Now, another thing I want to caution you on is when you're buying stuff, look for corn syrup. If it says corn syrup or high fructose, don't buy it. It is very hard on your body, and I'll tell you how it works on me. Those of us who have sciatic nerve problems, and I do, only when I found I eat corn products. I've eliminated out of my diet. There is no popcorn no more. There's no corn whatsoever in corn syrup. Now, how I found out corn syrup works the same, I do experiments, and sometimes I just say, oh, I'm going to eat this. Well, then I pay for it. Within a day, 2 later, I am paying for it. So I went down to Dollar General and I got me some Keebler cookies. And they're the Samoa-like cookies that they sell at the Girl Scouts, and I like those. So I thought, okay, I'll just get me some of these and I'll eat some and it'll be okay. Well, no, it wasn't okay, because within a day and a half after I ate these things, and I didn't just eat one. No, Miss Linda I had to eat like 4 or 5 that day, and then 4 or 5 next day. So next day I only had 2 left. I gave them to my husband. to take with him golfing because I didn't want them. I said, give them to the guys. I don't want them. So somebody ate them. He don't even remember who ate them because he didn't eat them. So anyway, I started getting sciatic nerve problems to the point where and I can feel it, my back, this lower part of my back swells up, and that's where the inflammation comes from the food. And I said, I bet you anything there was corn syrup in those cookies. So I went back to Dollar General when I had to go back, and I looked on the package. Sure enough, corn syrup. So that's what triggers my sciatic nerve. I don't know what triggers yours, but it's a food. Trust me. Don't let them tell you any of this. And do you ever think about a bulging disc? It's an inflamed disc, if you ask me. What if you honestly could cut out foods that you didn't have the problems? And one thing I noticed, years ago I had terrible swelling in my knee. I mean, it got the double size of what it should have been. And I could not raise up on that knee. I'd always have to go to my left leg. It was my right knee. So I finally went to a chiropractor thinking it was my back out of joint that was causing my problems with my knee, the way everything seemed to be going. So the chiropractor was puzzled because he did an x-ray of my back. There was nothing wrong with my lower back at all. He said, nothing's out of place, Linda. He said, I don't understand this. And he's trying to think. So he said, stand up. So I did. So he reached under my left foot. He said, your arch has fallen under your left foot, not your right foot. So here's how your body works. The body knows what to do. So what it was doing, it was emphasizing more weight on my left leg to take it off of my right. That's when my right leg started swelling so bad. And he said, let's see, to take it off my left leg because that's where the arch was fallen. My right leg was making up for that. That's how he said it would work. And I said, okay, what do I do? Well, he was going to said you can do a $400 insert or just go down to Walmart or one of the other stores and get you the inserts for your shoes. So I did. Now when you do this, you have to take the soles of those shoes of yours out first, then put these inserts in. I did not know that. So for 2 days, I wore those, and it was killing my knees. Both knees hurt then. It was like, oh, this isn't working. So he called and checked on me, and I told him, he said, that don't make sense. He said, did you take the inserts out of your shoes? I said, no, was I supposed to? And he said, yes, you were supposed to. And I said, okay. So I did that, and instant relief. Instant. It wasn't a day. It was just instant. So now, let me tell you what happens. I am not wearing those shoes anymore. I can go up and down a ladder without my shoes on. No back pain. No knee pain. It was inflammation that was causing all this. But did that doctor know that? Apparently not. He didn't do the research on inflammation to our bodies. People, I just want to tell you, I'm not here to tell you to go on a carnivore diet, but I'm here to tell you there are other ways to get rid of this pain. I used to have, and this was just a year ago, such pain in my hip that I couldn't stand even laying on my hip at night. I have to go on the other hip. Well, then of course it would get sore because I'm laying on that hip. Then my knees would hurt, or my leg, or I'd have muscle pains in my legs. And it's like, why am I having muscle pains? And I'm learning because I cut out a lot of the high oxalates. Now that's the key right there. High oxalate vegetables and foods, like nuts, are very high in oxalates. And I had a friend tell me, the keto way of eating is not good for your kidneys. Well, at first I didn't believe that friend. And then I started doing some research. The more research I did, the more I found out why it's not good for your kidneys. Oxalate, which is almond flours, very, very high in oxalates. That was problems for me. Okay, and it will be for you. Whether you want to believe it or not, eventually, it may not be bothering you now, but it will down the road. It didn't seem to bother my kidneys, but I was getting breakouts on my eyes. Now, had I continued down this path without doing my own research, I'm sure it would have affected my kidneys, and here's the reason why. Oxalates are crystals that is in vegetables that attacks your joints, okay? And it also, these crystals can break off and go other places, so they go into your kidneys. They cause kidney stones. A lot of people say that's false news. Well, I hate to tell you. Here's how to find out. Go and see a woman on her blog on, just Google her. She's on YouTube. She has her own podcast and blog. Her name is Sally K. Norton. Now, before you think Sally K. Norton is a carnivore person, Sally K. Norton, from the time she was 9 years old, before she was 9, but her mom did gardens and vegetables, so at 9 years old, she did her own vegetable garden. All her life, she's been mostly vegetarian, very little meat. And when she got in her 40s, I believe it was in her 40s, she started really having problems with her feet. She couldn't wear high heels anymore. She couldn't wear anything because it was killing her feet. It was like she just had to wear plain shoes. So she ended up in the hospital with this problem with her feet. They couldn't figure out what was going on. So being a person of research, she decided to do her own research. Guess what she found? It was either 1820 or 1920s. I can't remember the exact date, but go on her blog, you can find it out. She found some articles about how vegetables were high in oxalates and they're toxic. Now, everybody says they're toxic. Yeah, right. Well, if you stop and think about it, your vegetables are toxic because they have pesticides on them. Even your organic is still toxic because they have a mechanism that protects them from animals to eat them all the time, and people they don't want to be ate. And we think, oh, vegetables are great for us, and yes, some are. Go with the low oxalate vegetables. You want to know what that is? Go to Sally K. Norton's log, or go online and look it up. There is lots of things, but you have to be careful because you're going to see some discrepancies in some of them. It's like your nightshade vegetables. I always thought that was a myth about tomatoes and peppers and eggplants and all that stuff, but finding out for my own self, it's not a myth. Here's what happens when I eat peppers. And I know this because of what it did to me the last few days that I ate peppers. The lower muscles in my lower right leg got real painful. It was just like burning. I'm like, oh, I know what it is. I guarantee it's the peppers. So I get off the peppers, no more pain. My husband has been eating the peppers, and he says his back started hurting the other day. I said, what'd you do? He said, I don't know, it just started hurting. I said, it's oxalates. You're eating a lot of potatoes, and you're eating peppers, and you're eating tomatoes, and all of this will inflame your body. So he's backing off of them. He thinks he had this little pain in his hip today. He says, I think it's the peppers. I said, because when he said it, I said, well, I could probably tell you what it probably is, but you won't want to hear it. He said, no, tell me. I said, I think it's the high oxalated food. You're eating peppers and you're eating potatoes. And he said, I think it's the peppers. And I said, it probably could be, because I told him what happened to my leg after eating it. Now, you think I'm crazy. I know that. You're thinking, oh, Linda, you're just making this up. People, you don't make up pain in your body. At least I don't, because I don't like pain. And some people love pain to get sympathy from people. I don't want your sympathy. I want to feel good. I don't want to take a pill to feel good. I want to change my way of eating. So challenge yourself. Do this challenge for me. See how you feel. I've got family back home that's having hip pains and knee pains and feet pains, and I know for a fact because Shawn Baker talked about this. He's an orthopedic doctor, and he was keeping people from having knee surgery. Oh yeah. He told him, he says, you try this and see if this works. So he got them off of grains and got them off of processed foods. And within 6 weeks, their knee pain was gone. Probably started before then if they were honest about what they were doing. They didn't have to have the surgery. Well, of course, that made the people he was working for mad. And they said, you can't be telling people this. So he finally got out of the field. He said, I'm not doing this because I'm not hurting my patients just for surgery just because they want money. The corporation he worked for wanted money, of course. You get lots of money on surgery. And I don't blame all the doctors for this because doctors don't do research. They're too tired by the end of the day, most of them who are in ERs and all this stuff that they're having to do. Now I don't know how busy they are that they couldn't do some research. But then you got the protocol of the place you work. It's just like dietitians. They tell you eat this and eat that when you're a diabetic, when they know very well that that is going to raise your insulin. Oh, yes. Yes. And there is a guy that you can follow on YouTube. His name is Bitman, B-I-T-M-A-N, and he's a scientist that does stuff with, he's getting really into the resisting of insulin. And I think he has a book, and the book I'm reading right now says, I think the name is Why Am I Getting Sick? Or Why Am I Sick? And he is really getting into the insulin resistance and what's going on with that and why so many people are sick. Now see, with me doing just what I'm doing, my insulin don't go up past 101. That's been my highest count as long as I'm doing it. But when I'm really being food on just meat, I stay around 97 or 80 some. My insulin don't go up. And I did this, I'm not diabetic, but I wanted to see what my counts was by eating these certain foods. So I did it, and I can see the difference. My husband yesterday was 90 some. Today was 120. I said, do you know why? He said, yeah, because I ate 2 of those meatball subs, because I made meatballs with tomato sauce, and he ate them on bread, and his cabbage wouldn't raise his insulin, so it had to be the bread. So it went up, plus he drank, I think, probably a pop yesterday, and some of the pop will do it because of sugar. So, you know, that's the thing that you really have to watch, but I challenge you. I challenge you. You do it for a week to 2 weeks. Get rid of all grains, and cereal's one of them. It's a grain, any kind of thing that is processed. Keep from eating it for 1 to 2 weeks. You come back on here and let me know how you feel. If you're being honest, and if you're not being honest, don't get back on here and say, well, it didn't work for me, because you're not being honest. My husband actually is opening his eyes to these high oxalated foods, and he is seeing a difference when he eats them and when he don't eat them. So I'm just putting that little challenge out there so you all can try it and see. But don't believe me. I mean, seriously, go online and check it out. You know, I mean, I'm not saying change your whole diet to eating nothing but meat. Go with the low oxalated foods. And fruit. People want to say, fruit is so good for you. Is it? Keep eating your fruit. Keep getting your belly, because that sugar goes straight to your belly. Keep eating your fruit and watch your insulin go up. Watch your liver turn to a non-alcoholic liver disease. It'll happen. Maybe not right today, but through the year it's going to happen. And you're going to think, wow, I should have left the fruit alone. It's high fructose, people. That's why you don't eat fruit. Berries are the same thing. And I know agriculture people who have farms, they hate to hear this because it hurts their business. I'm just being honest. And people don't like honesty when it hurts their business. I'm sorry. But I'm just trying to help my friends and family who are hurting. So just try it. Give yourself that challenge. And you watch and see. But read the labels if you go out and buy something. Pay attention if you want to get healthy. If you don't, then this video is not for you. And one other thing I will say, because I normally don't say this in any of my videos, but I'm going to say it today, and I might probably will offend a lot of my friends and family, but there are some I won't. Vote red, election day, don't vote blue. Because if you vote blue, I'm just going to say this straight out, and if this hurts your feelings, and you hate me for what I'm going to say, and I offend you for it, you can unfriend me, and I will not be offended at all. You vote blue, and you are saying it's okay to kill babies. It's okay to destroy this country. It's okay to keep God out of our lives. And churches closed. So vote blue and lose your freedom. You vote red, you'll be doing this whole country a favor. That's all I'm going to say, because that's just how I feel. And yes, I don't care who I offend. So, stay safe. May God love you and keep you, and I pray that you know Him. So God bless. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.